Good afternoon. It's The Green Show on Source 96.1. I'm Jules, in for Pete. In the next hour, we'll be talking about Canada's new marine protected areas, removing plastic from the sea, 10 facts about the Zika virus, and ship noise in Wales. First, we've got Tiny Temper, Not Letting Go.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? It's The Green Show, 96.1. I'm Jules, in for Pete Maxted. You can email me, jules.thesource@gmail.com. And today, well, we're talking about all kinds of stuff today, but let's start with Canada's new marine protected areas. Why not? So, Canada has confirmed that it will increase the percentage of its marine protected areas to 5% by 2017 and 10% by 2020. Now, that might not sound like much, and arguably it's not, but the Canadian coastline is vast. It meets the Atlantic and the Pacific and the Arctic Oceans, and presently only 1.3% of Canada's waters are currently protected, and only 0.11% of that figure would qualify as protected waters in the UK. And that means no fishing or oil or gas drilling. And even that tiny, minuscule percentage isn't actually managed. So no one really knows what's going on there. So that's fantastic news. It's going to take a lot of work. Everyone's working together. The Canadian government's fully committed to 10% by 2020. It's a giant leap. Everyone's getting involved. Parks Canada, Environment Canada, provincial and territorial governments, industry, environmental NGOs like the World Wildlife Fund. Everybody is jumping in to make this thing work. And it's fantastic news. Now, here's a weird thing, a weird conundrum. Normally, the only reliable source of data on fish stocks come from fish catches. And with all the new MPAs being established around the world, marine biologists no longer have the data for those areas, just when they really need it to find out if all that effort is working. So the Zoological Society of London and the University of Western Australia have been investigating, and they're now calling for new approaches to biodiversity monitoring. They're suggesting new stuff like using GoPros together with acoustic echolocators and all kinds of stuff, and keeping an eye on emerging technologies to utilise. But what a fantastic dilemma to have. I honestly thought the problem would never occur, because I thought we humans were just too stupid and greedy to ever work out that we need to properly manage our oceans, and I'm very glad to say that I appear to be completely wrong. Hurrah! Lost Frequencies, are you with me on Source FM? How you doing, Source FM? It's The Green Show, Jules in for Pete. There's Lost Frequencies, are you with me? This is Fergie.
Tell them where I'm from. We like to love it. We like to love it.
Removing plastics from the sea, that's what we're doing next. It's estimated that about 8 million tons of plastic are washed into the oceans each year, where, as we know, they're all broken down into smaller microplastics that act as a magnet for chemical toxins that enter the food chain, and we know. The cumulative amount of plastic in the ocean is set to increase tenfold by 2020, with the consequences obviously extending centuries into the future because of the length of time it takes for plastics to biodegrade. So what do we do about it? Well, there's already an ambitious crowd-funded plan you may have heard of to gather plastic waste circulating in a huge garbage patch in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, the gyres that you may have heard of. Now, this uses 100-kilometre long inflatable booms that are aligned across sea currents, but a new study suggests that it'll be far more effective if this kind of thing is carried out near densely populated coastlines, especially off the coast of China and in Indonesia, where a lot of this waste is entering the sea. Now, a study carried out by Imperial College, London, and published in the journal The Environmental Research Letters, compared two hypothetical methods of collecting marine plastic over a 10-year period by either skimming the waste from the middle of the ocean or by positioning the collecting booms just off the coast of densely populated areas. Now, their computer modelling suggests that placing collecting devices nearer coasts would remove about 31% of the microplastics. However, when the collecting booms are placed inside the circulating mid-ocean garbage patches, only 17% of the microplastics would be removed, according to their models. Now, it does make sense, obviously, to remove plastics from when they first enter the ocean around dense coastal population centres. You can remove the plastics before they've had a chance to do any harm, and plastics in the patch have already travelled a long way and have potentially already done a lot of harm. So this is marvellous. We know that 90% of seabirds have swallowed plastics and that these birds are also concentrated around coastlines. I love this idea and I hope they get funding.
I could have beer for breakfast, my sanity for lunch, trying to get over how bad I want you so much. Innocence for dinner, I pick my poison and it's you.
Gonna talk about the inaugural UK Ocean Awards now. Now, American musician and producer Pharrell Williams, you've probably heard of, he is known also by some for his work to promote awareness of plastics in the ocean through his sustainable fashion label Bionic Yarn. But his work has just been recognised at the inaugural UK Ocean Awards with the Personality Award for Marine Conservation. Also taking home a gong that night was Oliver Letwin. He got a Visionary Award for engineering the UK government's commitment to blue belts around its overseas territories. M&S and Selfridges also scooped prizes for their efforts to address ocean issues. The event, held at Mark's Club in Mayfair, was attended by judges including Hugh Fernley-Whittingstall, Sir Charles Dunstan and Princess Zara Aga Khan. Boat International started the Ocean Awards in partnership with the marine charity Blue Marine Foundation. And the Ocean Awards were created to celebrate conservation champions who have made outstanding contributions to the health of the world's oceans. Bionic Yarn, which Pharrell Williams is the director, they use fibres recycled from plastics removed from the ocean to make clothing. M&S netted their trophy for doing the most through corporate responsibility and public engagement to address ocean issues over the past year. They won it for things like their Forever Fish campaign. They did educational campaigns in primary schools about sustainable sourcing of fishing. They did lots of funding. They funded the World Wildlife Fund marine projects. They launched beach cleanups and marketed less traditionally popular species of fish, such as dab and flounder. I have to say, I have an M&S shopping bag made from recycled plastic bottles, and I've used it pretty much daily for the past 7 and a bit years. I'm not exaggerating. I've had it longer than God has had his beard, and it's amazing. So yes, there's nothing wrong with using plastics to recycle into bags. They're fantastic. Selfridges received their award for their Project Ocean initiative, which removed single-use plastic bottles from its food halls and restaurants earlier last year. And each trophy took the form of a unique sculpture created by coastal-based artists from debris found on beaches. I like that.
What you wanna do, baby? Where you wanna go?
4 hours, we're just getting started.
I think I've had enough. I might get a little drunk. I say what's on my mind, just trying to make it back home by Monday morning. I swear I wish somebody would tell me, 'cause that's all I want.
Source FM 96.1. What that was Kanye West, Rihanna and Paul McCartney together on 4-5 seconds. Alright, let's talk about plastics. Plastics in the ocean again. So now it's been quantified because we've all seen the photos. Turtles with plastic rings around their shells, seals with fishing lines and deep gashes in their necks, and seabirds with bellies bloated by plastic debris. The pictures are around. Now, a new study published this week in the Journal of Marine Policy identifies and ranks the 20 worst types of plastic for marine mammals, turtles and seabirds worldwide. According to the study, the 3 most deadly forms of plastic identified: buoys, traps and pots, monofilament fishing line and fishing nets, all came from fishing vessels. These lost items are frequently referred to as ghost gear and can harm marine life for many years after they've fallen off a fishing vessel. I myself have dragged old fishing nets out of the water when diving. The next most deadly item on the list were plastic bags, utensils and balloons. Cigarette butts and bottle caps, both of which can be mistaken for food, they follow. Now, the paper did not seek to quantify how plastics kill marine life, but common causes of death we know include suffocation, blocked stomach, drowning after entanglement, infected wounds, that kind of thing. Some animals may also be contaminated by toxins within the plastic, which we covered before with microplastics. They can all travel up the food chain. So, this we know it'll affect us in the end, so we need to find new methods to prevent these plastic bags and derelict fishing gear from entering the ocean. We've got methods for taking it out again. We've got ideas preventing it going in. Hopefully they'll come together and, well, maybe in the end we can solve all this.
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. This woman is me. Shut up and dance with me.
We go hide away in daylight. We could be.
It is 42 minutes past 3 here on Source FM. Now then, stuff that's been in the news lately. Thought I'd have a little dig about. Discovered 10 facts about the Zika virus, which I quite like. Now, the World Health Organization has only declared a public health emergency 3 times in its existence. Once for polio, then it did it for swine flu, and then most recently for Ebola. But they've done it again for Zika, and few people have ever heard of it before last month. Now the virus has spread to 24 countries that we know of, and people are quite rightly concerned, so I thought I'd cover it today. So here are 10 facts about the Zika virus from a chap called Scott Weaver. Now, he's the director of the Institute for Human Infections and Immunity at the University of Texas Medical Branch. Everyone I quote comes from some indecipherable place. Anyway, so the first fact of the Zika virus, it was discovered first in Uganda, Africa, in 1947. But it's believed that the virus existed much earlier than that. The virus was discovered when looking for yellow fever in monkeys and was found in mosquitoes in 1948. Mosquitoes became infected by feeding on the monkeys, which then became infected with the virus. After mosquitoes contracted the virus, there's an incubation period in which the virus spreads through the mosquito into its salivary glands, and nobody yet knows if the Zika virus can be spread from mosquito to its progeny. Between the discovery and 2007, only 14 infections of the Zika virus were documented. Studies conducted on populations in Africa and Asia found high levels of immunity toward the Zika virus, suggesting previous undocumented transmission. Our 8th fact: it's expected to take a few years to develop a vaccine or therapeutics for Zika. And the current strategy is to manage Zika is to reduce the mosquito population, which we've seen on the TV, including clearing stagnant water while the mosquitoes breed. Our last fact, number 10, the mosquitoes that carry the Zika virus, Aedes aegypti, prefer to be indoors and bite humans throughout the day. 10 facts about the Zika virus from Scott Weaver, Director of the Institute for Human Infections and Immunity at the University of Texas Medical Branch. Well, why has it appeared now? This is what I wanted to know. I did a little bit of Googling about, and human activity appears to have something to do with it, at least. Deforestation, followed by agriculture, and then regrowth of low-lying vegetation, sort of scrubland affair has provided a much more suitable environment for malaria mosquitoes than the pristine forest that it replaced, increasing urbanization and poverty by creating ample breeding sites. In addition, climate change may raise the temperature and or humidity in areas that had previously been thought to be below the threshold required for mosquitoes to thrive. Now, the Brazilian government has so far deployed 220,000 members of the military to go door to door to help eradicate the mosquitoes in time for the Olympics. They've already said there's no chance the virus will jeopardize the games. If I was a female athlete who's planning to have a family soon, would I go to Brazil? Well, with the world watching, I can't see Brazil doing anything other than throwing everything they've got at the problem. But it's nature, and who knows? We heard on the news this morning there may be a sexual infection in Texas. So, yeah, nature's kind of weird. I think we'll learn a lot more about it in the coming weeks. It could work out, or it could just get worse. We'll have to wait and see, I think. Flow Rider. I don't like it. I love it.
I don't like it. I love it, love it, love it. Uh-oh. So good it hurts. I don't want it. No, I love it. I love it.
I need you, 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 I need you.
Good afternoon. You're listening to The Source 96.1. I'm Jules Powis in for Pete Maxted. This is Jerk You, Where Are You Now, featuring Justin Bieber. Before that, you heard Flow Rider, I Don't Like It, I Love It. Gonna talk ship noise and whales now. So, noise emanating from passing ships may disturb animals such as killer whales and dolphins far more than previously thought, with new research showing that the animal's communication and ability to find prey could be hampered by the underwater din. Noise disturbances could be hindering the ability of killer whales, orcas, to communicate and echolocate. Dolphins and porpoises, which also operate at higher frequencies, may be suffering from the same problems. Now, there are several knock-on consequences of a noisy marine environment. Whales may have to group together more closely in order to hear each other, and they may fail to find prey as effectively. And if they do, they'll need to store excess stores of blubber, and this is problematic at the moment because we know that blubber contains man-made pollutants that are toxic to whales, and if they're released into their systems, this increases stress. And we also think that noise may contribute to stranding, so lots of stuff going on. Military ships, we know, are a bit quieter, and could therefore, the tech they use could be trickled down and transferred to commercial fleets. Sailing boats, yachts. Another way to reduce noise is to slow down. Now, I've read about this a lot. There's a lot of pressure for this at various levels. Decreasing the speed of a ship by just 6 knots could decrease noise intensity by half. Well, at least the research is taking place now. There's a lot of people looking at it, and hopefully a solution will emerge from the data. Sam Neil's up next. This is Fetty Rap and Trap Queen.
1738. I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? Sent your pretty ass soon as you came in the door.